Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. I'm Hope, and with me is Coffee and the Mugsley. And today I wanted to focus on a topic that keeps coming up as I watch different YouTube channels and all of that sort of thing. And one of it is about why diets don't seem to work. And I was able to do a little bit of research, and I just kind of wanted to understand from the perspective of some of these some educational websites. Like, let's see, some of these are college websites. Ohio State University, looks like we've got Northern Arizona University, Harvard Health, Scientific American, and Cedar Rapids. So I wanted to try to understand from these medical professionals' perspectives of why diets don't seem to work, or how to avoid the diet cycling. And what it ultimately boils down to is that people get into the habit of trying to follow a specific eating plan, of focusing on eating certain foods and avoiding others. And this becomes kind of a problematic pattern, which, I mean, let's face it, when you cut out certain food groups, this can cause a problem. However, I will use myself as an example, is that I have, over the course of the past 7 years, maintained a weight loss of approximately 65 pounds and sustaining. I was a starting weight of over 200 pounds, and we'll say about 205, 210. I am currently sitting at about 135, and I have been able to maintain that over the course of these past few years, over the course of these 7 years, without gaining back up to or over what I was, and not gaining up to even 50% of what I had lost. Now, I will tell you that my particular plan of action for myself was not about dieting, but about changing my lifestyle. I could not do it quickly. I did not focus on doing it in a year. I did not focus on cutting anything out except for in the short term. I did cut calories, but I did it for shorter periods of time, and that way my body was able to adjust without some of those food triggering hormones such as ghrelin spiking in order to cause me to be more hungry and thus triggering those food cues. I did not intuitively eat because I know myself, and I am an emotional eater and I am a bored eater, and I stopped keeping those foods in and around my house. I also deleted fast food apps from my phone. If I wanted it, I had to make the actual trek over there, but then I also had to justify the monetary expenditure of getting it. So I was not going to DoorDash it. I was not going to let it come to me. I let myself, if I had to have it, I had to go and get it, and I had to take that time and money to go and do it. So those are just some of the things that I did. But after looking at some of these websites, and currently I am on the Cedar Rapids website for just why some diets don't work and how you can avoid the cycle to eat for your health, is that people perceive your efforts are not successful if you if you don't do it quickly. And that's one of the biggest things, is that you think if you cave that you're not being successful. Well, that's one of the things about lifestyle changing versus diet. So I think we need to change the way we think about terms as well, because the word diet is simply a word to describe the food you consume. Your diet is your food you consume. Your lifestyle is what you do as you're alive, because that does include your diet, but it also includes all your physical activity as well in the day. So I did not just focus on my eating, I focused on what else I was doing to create a consistent new change in my life that was sustainable for me. And I started with very small changes. And that's also something that people can find themselves um, kind of, I guess, failing at maintaining, is trying to take on too quickly. Too many different changes, cutting out all meats, cutting out red meat entirely, cutting out an entire this, that, or another. That's one of the things, is if you label something a forbidden food, then you start to, like, it almost is a, like, it's almost like a trigger to start craving it, such as a chip or such as French fries. So I never really link foods to be good or bad. I literally tell myself, if I'm going to have it, I'm going to have more of certain foods than of others. So yes, I may have cake, but I'm not going to have cake every day. I will have broccoli probably every day, or spinach or green beans or what have you. But cake may only come along on a coworker's birthday, on a special occasion, or what have you. But then I won't feel bad about having it when it comes along. And those are the times, or when I'm having a Dungeons and Dragons session with my friends, I don't feel bad partaking of chips and salsa or whatever snacks have been brought to the event, because then I know I've done well up until that point, and I also know that I'm not going to eat plates and plates and plates. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to have enough to satisfy that craving. Now, there is such a thing as set point weight, and that is another reason why I talk about going slow, is because this does allow your body to come down at a more comfortable rate. It also allows your body to maybe not, injure your metabolic rate as much. There is such a thing as cutting too many calories and slowing your metabolism, from what I've been able to gather. Now, this is based on what I've been reading, that if you cut your calories too fast for too long, you can limit your metabolism. You can slow it down. However, if you do it in such a way that you are trying to do it at a more logical, if you say you're eating 2,500 calories a day and you're slowly gaining weight, well, maybe you cut that back to 2,000 calories for a little while. That's really a Big Mac, I would say. And then you stay there for a little while, and maybe you see how your body does. And when I say a little while, I don't mean a week. I mean several months. See how your body does over the course of a month or two. And then from there, cut down to 18, cut down to 1750. See how your body reacts and how you feel. That is where you have to learn what works for you. But subsequently, you have to rely on a lot of your own body. And I did go and get a certification in nutrition. I did actually get certified as well as a personal trainer, because I wanted to know how my body worked best. And so one of the things that I'm reading on here is that intuitive eating involves eating for physical rather than emotional cues. And the thing is that you need to hear your stomach actually rumble for the quote-unquote permission to eat, if you're eating intuitively according to this website. But I don't know if I truly trust that. if you're an emotional eater like me, I just literally give myself, like, I give myself, I meal prep. I mean, that's literally the long and short of it. I meal prep. I give myself so many, like, I tell my, like, I plan it out. I'm like, okay, like, especially during the week, going to work, and I know what I'm doing. I'm going to work. I feel comfortable with what I've got. If something comes along at the office, I've got a little wiggle room. I'm totally fine. I'm still within what I feel good. And I do not give myself permission to just uncontrollably eat because I don't feel like that is intuitively eating. That is uncontrolled eating, and that is more emotional eating. That is not that is not going to be beneficial for your body. That is an emotional satisfaction that you are satisfying a craving. That is not something that is feeding or fueling your body in any way. And you need to rely more on the internal hunger cues and those fullness cues, but you have to actually learn to hear the difference in those. You have to physically know what those means. Because diets, if we are terming it diet, when you are restricting and trying to control those situations through like deprivation of things such as Mediterranean diet, keto diet, if we're terming it like that, that may not work for you long term. It may not, because you may be too restrictive when you come to the other side of it after you have met your goal, or you may become discouraged because you don't meet it fast enough. So by ditching that mindset and finding a way to satisfy yourself, you may have a better relationship with food because you're learning what your body needs when it needs it on a more a cue based level, a physical cue based level. I know for me, I needed to learn what foods actually fed my body well. Again, I don't cut out any foods specifically, and I still do not cut out any foods specifically. Um, but I try not to drink my calories because I want more calories for cookies later. I want my pizza later, so maybe I don't get the caramel macchiato from Starbucks because even though they're delicious, I want that pizza. And that's how I maintain my lifestyle and how I actually continue my healthy relationship with food, because I love food. I continue to love food, and there is no bad food in my book. I will eat candy. I will eat hot tamale candies. I love them. So there's no bad foods in my personal opinion. However, I still think we need to understand, like, there is still a limit to what we should be doing when it comes to emotional reasons or mental health reasons or what have you. And I think when it comes to those sorts of things, there could be a whole other discussion on how processed sugar and processed foods can possibly affect mental health, as some studies have shown. However, that's again a topic for another time. But I wanted to kind of talk about why diets don't work, and I think it's the way we think about them. I think it's the way that we are thinking about them being short term, trying to reach a specific goal, and we're not thinking about them in the way that they are a lifestyle change for longevity and for maintaining for a long period of time. Because if we are to maintain it, we have to actually work towards maintenance instead of reaching the goal, getting that kind of that happy dopamine feeling, and then throwing everything out the window. Because we have to take what we've learned along the way and continue to apply it, or we're not going to continue to succeed and stay where we're at. Those are just my thoughts because that's what's worked for me. And I want you to have a healthy relationship with food. I don't want you to think that foods are good and bad. Heck, like sometimes I will definitely drink a soda, but I just usually don't. Like right now, I'm having matcha, but I'm just saying, like, it's all about nourishing your body, but doing it in a very smart way and doing it in such a way that you are creating a new lifestyle for yourself of sustainability through smart actions, smart goals, and sustainable goals. And that's why diets don't work. So, if you have comments, I would love to hear them down below. I know this is it's a very hot topic. It's something that pops up a lot. And I just wonder, why don't lifestyle changes work for other people? Is it because of the terminology we're using, or what is it? I know right now there's a big conversation with using different medical products such as Ozempic and Wegovy and those sorts of things. I've never used those products because I'm at a point that I don't need them. But if I were still at my higher weight, would I use those products? I don't know. Or would I continue to try to do what I've done, which is my lifestyle change of changing the way I think about, changing just the way I think about how I move through life, because that's what I did. I changed the way I thought about movement in my body. I changed the way I fueled my body. I changed the way I treated my body, and all of that without the guilt of super restriction, and I've been able to maintain it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you have some really good thoughts. I would love to continue this conversation, and we will see you on the next page. Thank you for tuning into Hope and Coffee. Please like and subscribe. All the little buttons are down below, and we'll see you on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.